Hey, it's me, MLB. Here is chapter 92 of Touched. This one is titled Flow in the Coop. 2 weeks later, you were at home with Hiyoko. He had just finished his breakfast. It was playtime now and you lifted him out of his high chair and gave him a cuddle. Okay, Nugs, you go play while Mummy has some breakfast of her own, you said as you plopped him down on the floor. He immediately got on all fours and started crawling around, finding toys to play with while you walked to the kitchen to make yourself something to eat. You had your back turned to him when you suddenly heard the sound of flapping wings, and you glanced over your shoulder to see what was going on. There was Hiyoko, now airborne, and flying over the kitchen table. "Oh my gosh," you gasped, quickly dropping what you were doing and running over to where he had flown. He crashed straight into the lamp on the opposite side of the room and crumpled to the ground. No, you uttered in a panic as you got to him. "Hiyoko, what are you doing?" you wailed as you picked up your crying bundle. "You can't fly yet, you'll hurt yourself." Thankfully, he hadn't done any damage, so you calmed him down before carrying him with you back over to the kitchen to finish making your breakfast. "Okay," you said as you got your food ready, still holding him in the crook of your arm. "You got to stay with me, I can't put you down in case you try and fly again." Hiyoko seemed happy in your arms for a little while, but then he started to wriggle to get free. You held him for as long as possible, but as his struggling became more desperate, you plopped him down on the ground by your feet as you sat down to eat breakfast. Off he crawled at the speed of light, and before you could get up, he had flapped his wings furiously and lifted off the floor, shooting over the lounge and crash landing into the cushions on the other side. "Hiyoko!" you gasped. He was laying there upside down, looking through his little legs at you with a goofy smile on his face, and you scowled. "No, don't fly anymore, sweetheart, you'll hurt yourself," you said sternly. "What am I going to do with you?" You picked him up and sat him down at your feet again, bringing an abundance of toys with you to try and keep him entertained, but he had found his wings now, literally, and was determined to fly. Time and time again you had to quickly stop him from trying to fly because he'd either crash heavily into something or knock over something, but by lunchtime you were getting desperate. "I need to call Hawks," you thought as you quickly grabbed Hiyoko by his wings and held onto them so he couldn't flap. You waited until he had stopped trying, then dashed for your phone, grabbing it quickly, then dialing Hawks as fast as humanly possible. He picked up immediately. "Keigo, I need help," you said in a very panicked voice as you tried to run over to stop Hiyoko from flying again, but as you got to him his wing flicked up and knocked your phone out of your hand, breaking it and cutting the connection. "Ah!" you grunted. "My phone!" Just then Hiyoko took off and smashed into the window, shards of glass going everywhere as he made his escape. "Hiyoko, no!" you screamed, running towards the smashed window and getting glass all in your bare feet. "Ah, no, you sobbed, watching him helplessly as Hiyoko took off into the sky, flicking his wings wildly in all directions. You could hear him crying as he flew off into the distance and your guts twisted in fear and despair. Just then Hawks arrived and shot through the front door. "Baby," he called loudly. "Hiyoko's flown away," you screamed, your heart going a million miles an hour. Get him! "Are you hurt?" Hawks asked you quickly. "Yes, glass in my foot, but don't worry about me. Get Hiyoko," you screamed. "Call Bri," Hawks said quickly as he turned to leave. "But my phone's smashed," you wailed. Hawks quickly threw his phone to you and you caught it. Then he took off and you rang Brian to come and help you. Hawks shot up into the sky, his keen eyes scanning everywhere for his little boy. In the distance he spotted Hiyoko, still flying, haphazardly, but flying nonetheless. At his trademark top speed he tucked his wings back and shot towards his flying bundle. Not wanting to risk spooking his baby, he did a sneak attack and went high above Hiyoko and then dropped down, plucking him out of the sky as he dived onto him from above. Hawks quickly tucked Hiyoko's wings in while he wrapped his boy in his arms. "Gotcha, you little renegade," he said with a smile. "You gave Mummy and I quite a fright. Time to get you home." Little Hiyoko was a mix of emotions, still half crying but also excited that he had flown. By the time Hawks arrived back at the house, Brian was there tending to your feet. "I'm going to have to take this brave little bean to the hospital," Brian said as he waved his stethoscope around. "Where did you get a stethoscope from?" Hawks asked with a laugh as he presented Hiyoko towards you and Brian. You gasped when you saw Hiyoko's face, and Brian screamed sharply. "Beyonce, he's bleeding!" Brian gasped, flailing his arms dramatically. "His pretty little face is all scratched up." What? Hawks asked, then he spun Hiyoko around to look at him. Poor Hiyoko had a deep gash across his forehead, and the blood was running into his eye. "Oh, wow," Hawks exclaimed. "Okay, don't panic. Brian, I just said don't panic." But Brian was already a mess, grabbing for his phone and calling emergency services. "Hello, operator, this is a national emergency," he screeched into the receiver when the person on the other end picked up. Hawks quickly took the phone from Brian and handed Hiyoko over to him. Hello, Hawks here. Please disregard that last comment from my panic-stricken uncle, the winged hero said calmly into the phone. We are fine here, but we may need an ambulance, please. After very calmly explaining the situation, the operator on the other end dispatched an ambulance. You and Hiyoko had to stay overnight at the hospital, and Yoko had to have a few stitches in his forehead, but by the end of it all, everyone was fine. The doctor suggested a wing brace for Hiyoko that would prevent him from flying. He would still be able to stretch his wings and flap them, but he wouldn't be able to get airborne. At his age, he shouldn't be able to possess the strength or wingspan to fly, the doctor said, but because of his impressive wings, he can most certainly fly. We do need to keep him grounded a little longer, though, until he understands what he's supposed to do, the doctor added. I believe your husband is the winged hero Hawks. He may be able to give a little more insight into life with a flight quirk, but if you have any further problems, here is the number of a flight physio who can help guide you. Thank you so much, she said, as you looked over to Hiyoko, who was happily playing with the tape that they had stuck to the ends of his wings to stop him flying in the hospital. When Hawks came to check up on you that night, you chatted to him about Hiyoko and flight. I didn't get enough strength in my wings to fly until about age 3 or 4, Hawks said, thinking back. But I could try and come home a little earlier in the afternoon each day and take him out for a fly. It would get that flying itch out of his system, and he might be happier to stay grounded in the house. That's a good idea, actually, he said with a smile. I think he'd really enjoy that. And there ends chapter 92. Stay tuned for chapter 93.